discuss the topic of whether or not there was a war on black men. Okay? I was on Fox Soul once again to discuss whether or not there was a war on black men. When the topic is asked, I was on Fox Soul to discuss whether or not there was a war on black men. And even though I didn't intend on pulling this up, I think I need to pull it up because y'all know how people like to make emotional responses and folks never have, their things together. And people are always speaking from emotion, especially people in that community. That community is always very emotional. They never come with facts. That community is just disgusting. And so I want to pull up the part in the clip so that y'all can hear what the prompt was for that episode. So give me a second, because I ain't have that queued up. I got some other things queued up, but I want y'all to hear it out of the host's mouth so that it doesn't seem like the man, boy, girl thing. It is lying about what I'm about to say. Okay? So let me pull it up real quick. I have to scroll because it's been a minute. Even though the videos are still being made. It's been a minute. So let me scroll and find the video. All right. Let me scroll and find the video. Let me scroll and see. Found the video. So...
Welcome to Business of Being Black with Tammi Mack. I am Tammi Mack. Now, during American slavery, many slave owners were terrified of their slaves' insurrection, and retaliation by the enslaved was perceived as a constant threat. That threat, in their minds, was spearheaded by black men.
That was the question. In that question, or that setup, did it specifically lay out whether or not this was a conversation between cisgender men and women, heterosexual people only, or anything to do with queer people at all in that topic? Because what I heard Tammi say was, is there a war on black men? And on the business of being black, what I like to believe is that if you are a black person, last time I checked, just wanted to look down and make sure, okay? Had to look down, but wait, these are surgically altered, so maybe I shouldn't look at them because I can't trust these. So let me look at my big man hands, because these cannot be altered. You can't check. Ain't no surgery for these yet. Ain't no surgery for these. So let me look at my big man hands, okay? And the skin on the front side still say black, right? Right? And so in a conversation that does not directly say, this conversation is for cisgender, wait, hold on, because y'all know they don't like that word. This conversation is for biological, natural-born people of the black diaspora. Why was my transness an issue? Why was my transness, and what validity would my transness have mattered in this situation? Okay? All right. So here we go. There was a clip that I'm not going to show because it's been viral. It's been doing its numbers. They've been using it ad nauseum to try to make a point about the idea that this was all rigged and set up from the beginning. But in the event that you don't know how this works, Fox Soul does not tell you who is going to be on the panel with you. Fox Soul either sends you an email, someone sends you a DM, something happens and they say, hey, Hope, the topic of this is going to be blah. Do you want to be a part of this conversation? Yes or no. Okay? Yes or no. When you get your topic and you agree, they then ask you, what is your stance on this topic? Are you for or against? Once they have that information, you don't hear from the producers again until the day that it's time to film. Now, I would be completely 110% dishonest if I say that I did not know that this was a topic that might be up the alley of the Hoteps. Because every topic is up the alley of the Hoteps. However, the Fox Soul team and the producers of the show never confirmed with me that Dr. Umar, Cynthia G, or Dwann was going to be on this panel. So, it would be impossible for me to strategically target any of the three people that I just named, considering that if you've ever been invited to be a part of this type of panel on Fox Soul, you know that as I know, that it's impossible to set up a stunt when you don't know who you're setting the stunt up for. Okay? There's a clip where I'm popping my shit. Okay? There's a clip where I'm popping my shit after Dr. Umar has called me a surgically altered male. After he has broed me into oblivion. After he has already made it very clear that he has all of the intentions to be disrespectful while saying no disrespect. Okay? And so, with that being said, I made the video, and as I'm popping my shit about the reasoning for why, people are getting things twisted because while I was popping my shit, I was still giving very valid points. So for those of you all who saw that 7-minute clip, because I know y'all are watching and pretending not to, because I know who my people are, and I know how my people show up and pull through, and some of y'all folks are new, and some of your faces are new, and I'm watching the names, and some of y'all I don't know. Stay tuned for this part of the 7-minute clip that they did not show you in order to make their point. So, since y'all don't want to watch the video because you don't want to be educated on how you were wrong, let me show you what I said directly before that clip, and then let me show you what I said directly after that clip. So before that clip, this is what I said. Hold on.
Black babies?
Hold on, wait a minute.
Like, you're a black...
Let me run it back.
And then number two, you out here really, like, telling people to abort black babies? Like, you're a black cisgender woman, and everybody loves to praise black cisgender women because y'all can give birth to babies. And here's a black cisgender woman that is telling you that she is also telling black women, okay? She is also telling black women to abort the babies of black men. And you have more of a fundamental issue with me. I'm the problem, right? And I'm the thing that you needed to prepare yourself for in order to have this conversation with, but not the black woman who's literally telling other black women who are capable of giving birth that if you have one with a black man, that it should be aborted. Now, mind you, I could care less what she was going to, I could care less how she feels about it. If that's her rhetoric, then by all means, girl, do you. I just don't support it. But the thing that bothers me with men like Dr. Umar and men that are going to agree with Dr. Umar is the fact that you felt like me being trans was more of an issue for you to address than that. Which is something that I think is a fundamental issue within our community, is the fact that we are so willing and ready to walk away from each other than to figure this shit.
Now, if you know about the other clip, then you know that the other clip starts there, right? If you know about the other clip, then you know that the other clip starts where that video ends, correct? Right. Okay. Then, beyond that clip, after they played that disgusting clip to try to play it out of context. Okay. Hold on, wait, here we go. Let me pause this. Because after that clip, they have this disgusting clip out there that they're taking out of context to try to make it seem like I was doing all this, that, and the third, blase, blase, blah, whoop-de-whoop-de-woo. But what they did not show you was that clip, right? And what they won't show you is this clip. Now, directly after that clip, where they tried to take it out of context and make it seem like I was saying something else that we've already refuted that I could have been able to do, because when you don't know who's going to be on the panel, how can you set up or trick someone when you don't know that they are going to be there? Okay? This is what they don't show you that I said after all of that stuff had taken place.
And wanted to know who the fuck I was, did their research and told Umar. I wasn't clocked. Let's be very clear about this. Not that it even matters. Let me take that off the table. Not that it even fucking matters. Not that it even fucking matters. But in this instance, what I'm saying is that it's a problem because the same men that sit back and say shit like, oh, if you can't tell, if you da-da-da-da-da-da, I know a black woman when I see a black woman, none of these niggas could ever, trick me. I would never be gotten because these men, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and I bet without that wig and that makeup and da-da-da-da-da, all of this other stuff, all of the things that you could say, you can't say. You can't say. I'm not wearing wigs. I don't have on a face full of makeup. I'm not distracting you with my titties. I'm not distracting you with my cleavage. All that was on that screen was my big ass shoulders, my big ass head, and my big ass face. And you're trying to figure out, how did this person deceive me? I didn't deceive you. I came and showed up as myself and you received it. I came and I showed up as myself and you received it. As it was. A beautiful black woman sitting before you, because that's what it was. How I got to that point doesn't matter. But you know, the other thing that's interesting is that in those comments, a lot of people are saying things like, oh, this is why we can't trust them. Why wouldn't you disclose that? What was the point? But I know what the point was. But what we fail to realize is that if we want to have conversation that moves us forward, all that would have happened if they would have known is that it's likely that both of the men on that panel would have made the entire conversation about me being trans and not about the fact that black men are not being attacked in the way that they're trying to make it seem like they're being attacked. That's number one. Goalposts moved. And then number two, I don't know Sin Santana. I'm not sure, or I can't say Sin Santana because I don't know if that's her. But I don't know Cynthia G, right? I don't know Cynthia G at all. So I don't know if she would have been a black cisgender woman that would have been like, so fuck that, she's a woman. Or if she would have joined in. So what you were hoping was that you would get another ally on the team, move the goalpost, and then we could stop talking about the shortcomings of black men by making way to make it seem like everybody is out to get them, and we can all gang up on this trans person who's delusional, and this is the real reason why there's an attack on black men, because look at what they're doing to black men. Y'all think I'm stupid?
Okay. So now that y'all have seen what I said both before and after that clip that they're trying to use to discredit me, you understand the context behind that clip. And the context behind that clip is that y'all took a moment where I was popping my shit to talk about the reasoning for why he would be upset with that and tried to make it seem as though I could have possibly planned to set him up, trick him, or make him feel some type of way. But first and foremost, let me say this to y'all. In a world where everybody knows, according to y'all, in a world where everybody can clock it because trans women are so ugly, in a world where everybody can clock it because all of the girls look like boys, in a world where it's no way that you could trick me, make me believe nothing, why do trans people have to disclose if you could see it? If it's so easy to tell the difference in one breath, then why do trans people need to disclose in another breath? Because if I could tell a man from 50 miles away, then why does he have to say it? If you can smell natural born vagina from across 3 states, then why do I need to say something? So since everybody and their mama can clock a trans person from a mile away, then why do trans people need to disclose? Why do y'all need trans panic defense laws in 42 states to protect you from being tricked if you can see it through a shoebox? So if you can see it through a shoebox, if I'm all of the things that y'all have been calling me these last couple of weeks, if I'm a man, if my jaw is so strong, if my hands are so big, if all of this and that, if all of those things are true, then why do I need to disclose? Make it make sense. Because if I can tell the difference between an Oreo cookie and a Chips Ahoy, I don't need you to tell me which one is which. Because a Chips Ahoy can't fool me on NAM day, week, holiday, or any part of the year. Because I know the difference between an Oreo and a Chips Ahoy. Since y'all like to use inanimate objects to describe trans people, I'm going to meet y'all where y'all are, right? Since we love to use animals and things that are not human beings to describe trans people, I'm going to meet y'all where y'all are. So if I know that Oreos are my favorite cookie, and I can tell an Oreo whether it's been dipped in milk, fried, or burnt to a crisp, I know an Oreo. I don't need nobody to tell me what this is when I put it in my mouth, and you ain't got to disclose because I know my Oreos. God damn it, I'm an Oreo connoisseur. Who you think this is? Who you think you messing with? A regular Oreo eater? I'm not a regular Oreo eater. I am an Oreo connoisseur, I beg you. What are you talking about? So since y'all know what women are and how women show up and whether a woman is a woman is a woman is a woman, whether she was born a woman or not, then why do trans women have to disclose? That's my first question. Answer that. Answer that. Since we all have the affinity to decide what women are. Okay? That's my first question. My second question is, in a space where the question was for Black people, how is my opinion as a Black person not valid in this space? Huh? I'm waiting on it. Because once again, I keep looking down at these. These are surgically altered. Let me look at something that's not surgically altered. For those of y'all that's missing it, I'm looking at my face because it hasn't been surgically altered. Even though a lot of you all would like to believe that it has been, these are just good genetics and weight loss. So to the thing that has not been surgically altered, I think I still look Black. Last time I had checked, I feel like I was still a part of the Black and African diaspora. Last time I checked. But in a conversation that we were having, okay, about Black people and your thoughts on Black men as a Black person, not as Black men and women, not the dichotomy between Black men and women. I can't help the fact that that's where y'all took the conversation, but that wasn't the conversation that was supposed to happen. In a space where y'all are making videos talking about how I was taking up so much space from Black women, how is that the vibe when, one, I am a Black woman of trans experience. Number two, I only spoke when I was spoken to. Go back and watch the video because the receipts are there for a reason. Because Foxhole wants to continue to make the most money that it's ever made off of that show in record. That's the most comments, the most views, the most whatever that y'all have ever gotten on a motherfucking video. Period. And Foxhole left it up because they wanted to continue to make money off of that video. Because as far as that franchise in particular at Foxhole is concerned, they haven't seen that many views off of that video or that particular television program since it started. And so, of course, they're not going to protect the black trans woman that's been being berated all over the internet about this video, because they need to continue to collect the views and the ratings and all of that. That's what they need. And so, Foxhole, just know I'm coming for you in a few. Sit tight, because I know y'all watching too. But go check the video. Go check the video. I only spoke when I was spoken to. Even when I had things that I want to interject on. I only spoke when my name was called. So how was I taking up space from black women being able to speak their piece, if we want to go with that narrative, when I only spoke when I was spoken to? But I digress. No problem. Now we move into the space of the reason for disclosure. Well, we needed you to disclose for two reasons. We needed you to disclose because Dr. Umar would not have addressed you as such if he knew. That is not my problem. You know when I believe that it's important to disclose to somebody? When you are about to engage upon something with them that you cannot take back, that might affect them in a negative way. Because regardless of whether or not you think that it's silly and stupid, you cannot tell someone else to feel about the consequences socially and or otherwise that they will have to face by having a relationship with you. And I respect that. And so, if I had the intention to bust it wide open on Dr. Umar, I would have disclosed to him that yes, I am indeed a woman of trans experience. If I had the intention to bust it wide open all over Dwann's face, then yes, I would have told him that I am a transgender woman. But considering that I had no intention, no want, no need, no desire, no feeling, no guilt, no pain, no nothing to disclose my sexual parts to either one of them for the sake of having sex with and or tricking them into the idea that I might be able to give them or bear them a child, what does me being transgender have to do with the conversation at hand, which I once again will remind you was, is there a war on black men? Big dot, as my mother would say. Period, big dot, as my mother would say. And on top of that, I am happily, ridiculously happy as fuck in a whole relationship. I can get penis more than I would care to get penis from my partner. So I don't need to be on Foxhole batting my eyelashes at two overweight men who could be my father and grandfather, with the hopes that one of them might have sex with me on a dirty couch somewhere in Philly at 3 a.m. in the morning without no one noticing, so that I can feel great about myself and my decision and choice to bat my eyelashes at people who have openly disclosed that they wish that I was not here, a part of this community, and that I am a treacherous snake who comes in to kill, steal, and destroy the black population as a whole. I think if I was going to not disclose for the sake of getting laid, I would pick better candidates than Dr. Umar and Dwann. I'm just saying. I am just saying. Have you seen my man? I'm good. I'm really good. I'm good like great. And without disclosing too much information, I am good. Real good. Good. Real good like great. Okay? Just so you know. Beyond that, there are a group of women, not all, some of them, not all, some of them, not all, some of them, because you know you have to repeat things so that people can't re-edit your sound bites. Not all, some women, not all women, some women. There is a group of some women. There is a group of some black women. There is a group of women. There is a some women, some women of a group, some women of a group of women, some of them, not all of them, some of them women, some women, a group of women, some of them, but not all of them, some of them feel as if I didn't have the right to speak on that panel because I was speaking for all black women. Once again, because you can pull it up, where's the video where I specifically say, hey, Tammi, Cynthia, you shut your biological pie holes. I got this one. I am going to speak for all black women right now and let these two know what all black women think. I want y'all to find that clip. That's the clip that I want y'all to find. That is the clip that I need for you all to discover and present the evidence to the class. Because at no point did Hope Giselle get up on that panel and say, as a representative for all women, I would like to interject and let y'all know how all black women feel. I never said that. I never even motioned in the way of that. Once again, I only spoke what I was spoken to. Now, for all of them that are going to say, but you're not one of us. You're not a we. You're not a us. Okay, no problem. So, since Cynthia G is a we, since Cynthia G is one of us, I guess all of y'all are okay with the idea of aborting babies from black men. Y'all are okay with selective breeding because Cynthia G was born a black woman. Born. Ovaries, womb, tomb, blood, all of that. She got all of the she has all, presumably, because we don't know her business, but presumably, Cynthia G got all the pieces to make the Lego house go round. Cynthia G got all the ingredients to the easy bake oven. And so, since the argument is Hope should not be speaking on behalf of all women because Hope is not a woman, she's not born a woman, she doesn't get to talk about that, then a person who presumably does get to speak for all women, which would mean that all of you that are disagreeing with me agree with her. So, good luck with the idea of growing a community when you're all okay with the idea of aborting every child that you've ever conceived with a black man. Y'all see how that dumbass logic don't work? You see how y'all understand people speaking for themselves and not the majority of the group when it don't make sense to y'all? But do y'all see how transphobia is a little different than disagreeing? Because you could disagree with what I said without having to be a jerk about who I am. Let me run that back for y'all. You can disagree with what I said without having to be a jerk about who I am. One more time. You can disagree with what I said without having to be a jerk about who I am.
You can disagree with what I said without having to be a jerk about who I am.
But the problem is, y'all don't disagree with what I said. The problem is, you can't poke a hole in the things that I was saying. The problem is, you still fuck with what I said on that panel. And that's what really burns your grits, because you want to be able to be a part of the brain train that says, do away with these it's, things, he, she's, them, days, those, boys, and men. But you can't help to realize that you heard yourself in my words. Which is why there are no videos talking about what Hope said was bullshit. But there's a bunch of videos just talking about the fact that I'm trans. Y'all peep that? Y'all peep that? Y'all peep how there are a bunch of videos out there talking about the fact that I am transgender. But no videos talking about the fact that line by line, point for point, nothing that I said made sense. I've even heard some of you say, I agree with what she said. I meant he, because you have to go out of your way to misgender me because you don't see a he, but that's a whole nother video, right? But I agree with what she said. I just don't think that she was the person who should have said it. So why? What about me or made my argument less palatable than anybody else who would have said it? Oh, and this is about to hurt some of y'all feelings, and this is about to be the part that's gonna make y'all make video after video after video. Some of y'all, not all of y'all. Some of y'all, not all of y'all. Some of y'all, not all of y'all. Some of you, not all of you. Some women, some men, some men, some women, some women, some men, not all of y'all. Some people, some black people, not all black people. Some black people, some men, some women, some black people, some cisgender people, not all of the cisgender people. Some of y'all are gonna be real mad about this part. Because there's a group of women who, even though you agree with everything that I said out of my mouth, my manly made mouth, my big man-lipped mouth, because you can tell the difference between the mouth of a man and the mouth of a woman. So I have a man's mouth because I have XY chromosomes, and I will forever have a man's mouth. And so out of my manly mouth, you agreed with everything that I said. Everything. Out of all of the things I said out of my manly mouth, you agreed with it. You sure enough did. And then the funny part about it is there are so many of those same women who are saying that the large part of the reason why they have an issue is because I'm a man coming over and taking over space and taking up space from women, and I don't have the right to make these points because I'm not a woman and I don't understand girlhood. We didn't talk about girlhood, but okay. We didn't talk about what it means to have a period, but okay. We didn't talk about your uterus, but okay. We didn't talk about any of those things. We talked about dealing with and interacting with black men. And unless you're a Mormon from the country of Moor who lives all the way in Buckbuck, Egypt, in the capital principle of Moor Hills, you have run into a black person. And if you're a black person, it is likely that you've run into a black man every single day of your life. And so therefore, this conversation was for any black person that has had an introduction or had enough experience with black men to have a conversation about the war on black men. And to some of you all's defense, who better to talk about the deplorable state of black men than a black man who is a black it or thing or something now? Whatever that thing is. Who better to talk about the demise than that thing? Because that thing did not like it over here so much that that thing decided to go somewhere else, child. So it had to be bad because that thing right there, that thing hated black malehood so bad that thing left us. So let us listen to the reasons for why that thing didn't want to be one of us no more. But here's the gag, though. Y'all are talking about me trying to control the narrative of women, me trying to tell women how to feel, me trying to tell women to be upset. But y'all know who got y'all panties in a bunch? All of the men who could not refute what I was saying, and so they got y'all riled up and told y'all to be mad, and now you mad. Think about it. Think about it. Did you have a problem until these men started getting on these podcasts and making these videos and telling y'all that y'all should be upset? And you know why they did that? Because they saw that you weren't. And they saw that regardless of how they felt about it, the battle was fought valiantly by both myself and Cynthia G. But I'm the man that controlled y'all thoughts. I'm the man that controlled y'all thoughts, but all of these men that made these videos and directly told y'all, as a woman, I would be mad. Waits on y'all to cap. Waits on y'all to cap. Didn't take long. Waits on y'all to cap. If I was a woman, I would be mad. Waits on y'all to fall for it. Waits on y'all to fall for it. Because there are some of y'all that are looking for an alpha male king and some of these beta male warriors that hide behind their computer screens. He's only an alpha on the screen, sis. When ain't nobody looking, he watching Barney with the kids and playing Power Rangers. He's only an alpha male on the screen, sis. When ain't nobody looking, his favorite show is Love and Hip Hop and he loves Masika. He's only an alpha male when we're paying attention, sis. When ain't nobody looking, he paints his fingernails and pulls it off before his wife gets home. Stop buying into their fantasies. And I'm not telling you what to do. Believe what you want to believe, sis. If those are your kings, then by all means follow them. But understand and recognize that the only male in this situation that was trying to get you to believe something or make you feel like you had to feel a certain way was all of the men that made those videos and told y'all that if you weren't mad, that there was something wrong with you. But why? How are you as a man who identifies as a man gonna tell me I should be mad about what this person said about me? Especially if what she said was something that I could resonate with. If what this person said, whether or not I believe she's a woman or not, if I resonate with what this person said, who the fuck are you to tell me as a man who identifies as such that I should be mad? But y'all let them rile y'all up. Y'all let them twirl y'all up into a nice fork of spaghetti and swallow y'all whole. Y'all let them twirl y'all up on that fork real nice and tight and very neatly and plop one meatball at the very end of those forks and push y'all to the back of their throat. That's what y'all did. But I'm the man that was trying to control the narrative and tell y'all how to feel as women. I'm the man that was trying to control your narrative and tell you how to feel as a woman. But y'all allowed all of these men who made these videos to get y'all mad about absolutely nothing because they had no ground to stand on. Now, do I agree with everything that Cynthia G stands for? Absolutely not. Howsoever, as it pertains to everything that happened before the last 15 seconds of that panel, she was making points. And so was I. And you know who was having a hard time keeping up? The men. And so their only mode of concourse was to find something out about either one of us and try to discredit our arguments based off of that. And they just so happened to hit the jackpot with me because I am trans. And y'all fell for it because that's how some of y'all, not all of y'all, some of y'all, not all of y'all, some of y'all, not all of y'all, some women, not all women, some women, not all women, some women, some, not all, some, not all. Big man hands, some, not all of y'all. That's how some of you all get in. But who did I disrespect? So let's move into that space. Who did I disrespect? Because when I came on the panel, I addressed everyone by their name. I never spoke out of turn. I only requested respect back. And I did not raise my voice during the conversation at all. I simply stated to Dr. Umar that I was not going to engage with him the way that Cynthia was engaging with him. So that if he could give me the floor back, that would be nice. But I never raised my voice at anybody, insulted anybody, threw a jab at anybody. But I'm about to now. And I'm not about to throw a jab at Umar or Cynthia. But you know who I'm about to throw a jab at? Dwann. And I want whoever is screen recording, I want you to stop. I'm going to give you some time to stop real quick. Because I want you to have this clip right here ready-made. So get ready. Pause that clip that you're doing. I want you to pause real quick. Follow my instructions if you're trying to be a good snitch, right? If you're trying to be a good snitch and you're trying to get your YouTube views up, I'm telling you, this right here is going to be the clip that's going to make your page pop. Okay? So pause this one so that you can have this a completely separate clip because you're going to want it. You're going to need it. Okay? I don't know who you are. I don't know what you think gives you the audacity to be able to speak about anyone's appearance, about anyone's life choices, decisions, about anyone's sexuality or gender expression. Because out of everyone in this conversation, you were the least significant voice on the panel. Howsoever, because all of your other ventures, whatever they might be, must be so ridiculously failing that you feel like you have to jump on the hope-hate train and get a couple of cameos in some random podcasts in order to stay relevant to the conversation is mind-boggling to me. When I looked through, before I stopped caring, when I looked through the titles of most people's videos, most videos were titled Hope Giselle versus Dr. Umar, Dr. Umar versus Hope Giselle, Hope Giselle, Cynthia G, and Dr. Umar, Fox Soul, Dr. Umar, and Hope Giselle, Cynthia G versus Dr. Umar, Cynthia G versus Umar, Umar and Cynthia G, Cynthia G speaks on Hope Giselle, Dr. Umar, and Cynthia G. People didn't even remember that you were on the panel. People did not even resonate your words as worthy to include in their clickbait videos about the topic. But you got the nerve to sit your fat back, pork belly, oink oink the pig, Elmer Fudd for Halloween every year until the day that you should disappear from this earth. Wild boar by the chin, have an ass on anybody's platform and go in about me or anybody is wild behavior. It is wild behavior. You look like an old house cat that was adopted and never given a collar that sits on a backwoods Alabama porch 24/7 waiting on an old can of tuna from a lady named Rosa who grew up in the projects of Brooklyn but somehow has the name of Rosa even though ain't nobody in her family Spanish. You look like that cat. You look like the man that sits in the back of the club with thousands of dollars in his pocket, paid for a section, and then had to bribe your homeboys to sit with you because they know that you are a living, breathing pussy deterrent. You look like the bottom of someone's pan pizza that has been in the oven for far too long. And then somebody did the Halle Berry, took the back of a fork, scraped it, and thought no one would notice. And then the person took a bite of the pizza, realized that it was still burnt, flipped it over, and decided that this was too much. You are the man on Set It Off that Jada Pinkett had to reduce herself to have sex with in order to pay off her little brother's all of his stuff that he had going on, because there was no other way that a beautiful woman would touch you if you did not have funds, financial resources, or something that she could gain from you in the process. And you have the unmitigated goal. You have the null. You have the gumption. You have the rigmarole deep within inside your soul to sit on anybody's platform and talk about how I look, how any trans woman looks, or black woman as a whole. I may not care for Cynthia G's rhetoric, but you could never, if she spit in your direction, you would want to scrape it off the concrete before the sun melted it in and hold on to it, because it would be the closest to the juices of a woman that you would ever have gotten in a very long time. So for you to sit on a platform and talk about anybody's looks, body, choices is disgusting, deplorable, and I would beg you to be very fucking mindful of discussing mine, because it can only get worse. And your little friend, I saw it. But I'm not going to give him the satisfaction because he's a comedian. I'm not. I'm just going to read you for filth. But also, I know a battle that I can't win when I see one. So you off the hook, sir. And I'm still not going to give you the satisfaction. You going to know and you going to make a video. And I want you to make a video because it'll prove that I'm right and that I have the power to make you make content. So if you want to prove me right, go ahead and make the video. But then I get to turn around and make a video about how I was right and how I made you, a grown-ass man, do what me, a grown-ass man, just told you to do. So that's my read to you, Mr. Friend of Dwann, and you know who I'm talking about. But I'm not going to give you the satisfaction of saying your name because you had to go out of your way to pull up a picture of me from 2018 when I was in the middle of talking to even find a bad picture of me. Put something easier on there. Put up a picture recently. Go through the gram. Google a bitch. There are plenty of pictures, but you know what you had to go do? You had to go find something that made me look disgusting. You had to go try to find something that made me look bad. But guess what? I don't care how good you look. If you're a man, you're a man. I don't have to make you look bad. But you know why you had to make me look bad? Because just like Dr. Umar, you were interested. You Googled me and you were pissed that you couldn't find a bad picture. Even when I was fat, bitch, I was still that bitch and you were upset. You were mad. You were upset. You were in your feelings that you couldn't find a bad picture of this bitch. You were so mad. And so you had to go dig and find a video from 2018 where I was in the middle, screenshot, and use that as your reference photo. Because you didn't want to give people the ability to say, well, at least she's cute. I mean, excuse me, it. But my thing is, if I'm all of those things, then you shouldn't need to have to find a bad picture because ain't nobody gonna be interested no way, right? But y'all have to go and do the rigmarole to make yourselves look better because you know that if you pull up something recent, it's already gonna give what it's supposed to have gave. And also, for the record, I am not afraid to show my male pictures because my male pictures blow all of y'all out of the water. Dwann, Umar, and the other person who shall not be named because I won't give you the clout, but you're gonna make a video because you're not gonna be able to hold your tongue. And Dwann's going to run to you because he doesn't have the following to be able to garner enough people to give a fuck about what he says. So, of course, he's going to make this less about him because I just read him for his utter life. And he's going to try to pull you in to save him because he can't crack a joke to save his life. So, with that being said, stop it. Why you had to go all the way back to 2018? When you Googled me, 1,001 pictures came up. Why you had to choose that one? Why you had to go so deep in that research? And also, I don't understand how people don't like transgender people, how folks don't fuck with transgender people, how transgender men are so disgusting, but y'all spend all day Googling transgender people to talk about. So what's your interest? Because if I check that search history and I type in trans, I'm sure I don't even have to finish typing the TR. I'm pretty sure if I just hit T on your keyboard, trans pops up. And do you know what that makes to you? A frequent searcher. When you no longer have to type in the full word on your keyboard, it means that you search it frequently. And when I don't care about things, I don't search things 90 going north. And especially not so much that I have it saved in my search bar as a part of my recent searches. You know what comes up in my recent searches? Christian Louboutin. You can't hit the C on my keyboard and not get Christian Louboutin's website to pop up. But you know whose name don't pop up when I type in you? Umar. Do you know when I hit D on that keyboard, you know who don't come up? Dwann. Do you know when I hit a C on that keyboard, who doesn't come up? He who shall not be named, the Black Voldemort. None of those names pop up because I could care less what y'all are doing. Why are you so obsessed with me, Eminem? Huh? Why are y'all so obsessed with trans people in general? 2 weeks after that video was up and you were still talking about Transformers on your page. Make it make sense. Let it go. But now, Fox Soul, I got a word with y'all. Come here, bring your ass here real quick. Fox Soul, let me explain this to you. You may not owe Dr. Umar an apology, but y'all owe me an apology. because I thought about it, I sat on it, I thought about it, I sat on it, I thought about it, I sat on it, I think on it, I slept on it. And here's what I have an issue with. What I have an issue with is the fact is, because of this video, y'all have sat back and watched what has happened to me on social media for the last month or so. And not a single person from Fox Soul's team directly inbox me, message me, text me, email me to simply just say, hey, Hope, we see what is going on and we just want to make sure that you are okay and ask if there is anything that we can do to help you with this situation, because we understand that you would not have been in this situation had we maybe decided on other guests to go with this topic. And even if you don't want to go so far as to say that it was your fault for choosing the guest, okay. But the fact of the matter is that a video that I did for you all to help the views for your show went viral in a way that's disgusting for absolutely no reason. I didn't get on the show, and I could even see if I had gotten on the show and made a mockery of myself and people were commenting about that. But the fact of the matter is, I got on the show, I answered the question, I respected all of the guests, and then those same people turned around and belittled me and degraded me for weeks on end. And you can search the internet far and fucking wide. Never on ever have I ever been caught on film calling Dr. Umar, Cynthia G, or Dwann out of their name, even after the disgusting and deplorable things that they said about me. And you can't control their actions, but as a network and as a company who then turned around and asked me if I would like to come back to put myself back in harm's way. Not you, Jerome, because I don't really know what your job is, but I'm talking about the network in and of itself. I'm not talking about you because I'm not necessarily sure what your job is. I'm hazy on that, Jerome. But you did. But I'm talking about the producer. I'm talking about people. Just the general email. Just the general email. The same way that they email you about being able to get on and, hey, do you know your call time? I should have gotten an email about that before anybody asked me to come back on. Before y'all asked me to come back on to do another episode, we should have been able to sit down and have a conversation about the ways in which this all took place. And someone from Fox Soul, who was a part of that production team that day, should have sat down with me and said, hey, girl. Okay, Jerome, I get what you're saying. Okay. But Jerome did reach out to me immediately. Jerome did. I didn't know. Okay. Thank you, Jerome. But Jerome did reach out to me. But that's the thing as well. Jerome reached out to me as Jerome. Jerome reached out to me as an associate. Jerome did not reach out to me on behalf of Fox Soul. So yes, you did reach out, Jerome, but you reached out to me as the person that you are, not as the organization, not as one of the people who had, like, I don't know if this was a green room conversation that y'all had, but it should have been. And I feel like there should have been a larger conversation to say, hey, we need to say something to this girl because what they doing on the internet is trash. And as producers, as people who were running the show that day, we need to make sure that she understands and know that all of us together collectively do not mess with what is happening and we don't support it. Because my honest ask, and I'm asking right now, since I know that you are now a producer, Jerome, I thought that you were just connected. I'm sorry, I did not know your job or your title, but I thought that you were just connected. Howsoever, now that I know, my ask is going to be that they remove that video. Because all that video is doing is giving more people what they feel like is gumption, wherewithal, and needs to continue to go back, find that video, and keep drumming this up. And all it's doing is making me and my platform be affected, because then they leave that video and they come over here and they report all of my posts. So that's my ass from Foxhole. But now, because of those consequences, I can only go live for an hour. So I'm going to have to leave here and I'll be back in just 1 second.